Today we're going to talk about why Wednesday Addams is actually very dumb. So unless you've been living under a rock for like the past 3 years, you've probably heard of the Netflix series Wednesday that absolutely exploded into everyone's radar. It's a supernatural mystery series with dark comedy elements set mainly at Nevermore Academy, a dark supernatural boarding school for outcasts in the town of Jericho. The show blends horror-lite thrills with Tim Burton's signature gothic charm. It also highlights the Addams family, especially in the second season. But the definitive star of the show is without a doubt Wednesday Addams, who the show is literally named after. Wednesday Addams is supposed to be this brooding genius of the Addams family and Nevermore. The show presents her as this master of wit, logic, and calculative schemes, and they manage to convince us to a degree that she is. I mean, she has incredible vocabulary, she's sharp-witted, and is able to assess people and situations fairly quickly, and she's also genuinely funny. But all that on its own doesn't qualify someone to be a genius, and if you actually watch her across seasons 1 and 2, her actions show she's less mastermind and more master of bad decisions. So many bad decisions that I don't even think we'll be able to cover it all in this video. So I'm mainly going to focus on season 2, even though there are just as many instances in season 1 to prove my point. Without wasting any more time, let's talk about why Wednesday Addams is actually a dumbass. Starting off with her reckless gambles. In episode 1 of season 2, Wednesday shows us just how daft she can get by overextending her powers and ignoring clear warning signs from her mother, and also warning in the form of literal black tears seeping from her eyeballs. Now, it's one thing to not know that you're abusing your supernatural gift, it's another to know and still do it anyway, and that's exactly what Wednesday did. She ignored her mother's warning, and as a result, she was essentially powerless for the rest of the season. And humorously, her abilities would have really come in handy with a lot of the situations she was stuck in. But because of her unbridled recklessness, she didn't have access to her own abilities for the most part of this season. And to be honest, I'm not even angry about that. I mean, if I don't have to see her do this every other minute, I'm good. There's also her duel with Morticia over Goody's spellbook, which sounds badass on paper, but in practice, she gets schooled, loses miserably, and then has to witness her mom casually toss the book into fire like it's last year's junk mail. Imagine risking it all only to lose to your mom and lose a priceless artifact while you're at it. It's like she just woke up one morning and decided she was somehow going to beat the very person who trained her. And then there's episode 6, when she tries to restore her powers with a ritual. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to get your powers back, especially considering the situation she was in at the time, and that feeling of helplessness can make you do reckless things. But just 1 hour of research to know exactly what you're getting into, I mean, it can't hurt, right? Not to mention the fact that she literally had the most talkative ghost as her spirit guide. I mean, call me crazy, but instead of trying to make her go away, she very well could have asked her what the dangers were and how to properly prepare for them. And this is going to be a recurring theme as we continue. The fact that Wednesday can't even do the bare minimum to prepare for literal life and death situations is just beyond me. It's like every single time she skydives first, then thinks about a parachute later. People who do that are people who usually want to end up as paint on the ground. If she'd actually done her homework, she could have had a backup plan in place, and maybe avoided the whole body swap fiasco that nearly took her and Enid's life. This girl isn't the chess master she thinks she is. She plays Jenga blindfolded, then gets mad when the tower collapses, which leads to the fact that she mistakes chaos for strategy. Wednesday's go-to move isn't logic or deduction, it's chaos. Pure, uncut chaos. If she needs information, she causes a disaster. If she needs answers, she blows something up. It's like she's never even heard of the word subtlety. And episode 4 is a perfect example of this, the Willow Hill Asylum break-in. In a very expected turn of events, Wednesday and Uncle Fester kill the lights of an asylum full of dangerous patients. Slurp escapes and turns the hall into a literal slasher movie. Tyler starts prowling like he's on a Scooby-Doo mission from hell, and Wednesday gets yeeted out a window for her trouble. To be honest, she's lucky that's all she got away with. Wednesday embarked on a rescue mission grossly unprepared. She broke into Willow Hill to investigate, but ended up freeing trapped outcasts. And she made no plans whatsoever for Tyler, the dangerous Hyde who almost killed her and her entire school, who happened to be a prisoner there, as well as any other dangerous outcast that just happened to be there like Laurel Gates, the zombie, Tyler's mom. It's wild that she never stopped to consider the obvious that killing the power in a psychiatric hospital would unleash every locked door. She didn't even bother to warn Uncle Fester like, hey, maybe this plan ends with homicidal maniacs running through the streets. If Wednesday was truly as smart as she claims she is, she would have made plans to secure Tyler or any dangerous criminals first before releasing every outcast within those walls. That very impulsive break and enter proves she never anticipates the fallout of her own moves, and that is one of her biggest weaknesses. And this isn't just a season 2 issue. Season 1 had her accusing Xavier over and over again with zero proof, interrogating him, wasting time while the actual villain was having a field day. And this is where I talk about Wednesday's pride and hypocrisy. Because for someone who acts allergic to emotion, Wednesday sure lets her pride and hypocrisy take the wheel. She demands loyalty and honesty from everyone else, but behind the curtain she's writing Enid into her novel as shallow and weak while pretending to care about her. And that pride leads right into her biggest flaw of all. Because for someone who's painted as a dark genius, she's actually a terrible detective. The truth is, Wednesday doesn't solve mysteries through brilliance. She stumbles into them through dumb luck. And there are many instances in the show that prove this. In season 1, she accused basically everyone in a 5-mile radius. Xavier, definitely guilty. Tyler, maybe guilty? But back to Xavier again, totally guilty. She was wrong every time until the villain literally had to spell it out for her. Sherlock Holmes would be rolling in his grave if he weren't too busy facepalming. And season 2 makes it worse. Instead of tightening her methods, she doubles down on hunches, theatrics, and crazy stunts. In episode 8, she gets lured into an obvious trap by Isaac Knight in an attempt to rescue her brother. And while she knows this is a trap, her entire plan boils down to Thin perched in a tree with a crossbow. I don't even know what the idea was with that, but for someone who prides herself as a detective genius, she definitely did not think that through. Apart from that, the plot literally handed her an important clue at the beginning of episode 8. That's the scene where she sits with her mom and grandma in an attempt to use their combined psychic ability to locate Pugsley. Wednesday does find out a vital piece of information which would later prove useful toward the end. And this is just one example of various scenarios where the plot just hands Wednesday the answer, after she's already fucked it all up. Now I can already hear some of you saying, well, Wednesday's supposed to be flawed. That's what makes her human. Sure, but there's a difference between being flawed and just making dumb choices. Accusing people without evidence is reckless. Being arrogant enough to challenge your mother to an unwinnable duel is arrogant. And being completely oblivious to the capability of your allies is extremely naive. Wednesday might think she's a master detective and dark genius, but ironically, she makes just as many dumb mistakes as the people she mocks. And every other so-called win leaves a trail of fire, blood, or broken glass behind her. And that's not brilliance, that's just chaos. Wednesday is impulsive, sloppy, and often more cruel than clever. She mistakes chaos for strategy, pride for pragmatism, and dumb luck for detective work. Honestly, she's less of a mastermind and more of a moody teenager with a flair for arson. But hey, that's actually one of the things that makes the show that much more entertaining. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I want to know what you think. Do you think Wednesday Addams is an unrivaled genius or a blatant numbskull? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.